3zinferno. So we're going to recap YCS Indy for you right here. This is my tournament report for YCS Indy. Let's start off with the deck. So I ran windups because I haven't played since Long Beach. Like I've only played at locals and stuff. So I really haven't played at YCS since Long Beach. So windups is what I was most comfortable with, and I took that. Let's start off with the main deck. This is already, I have a Trigodia, which is really funny because we were test playing Thursday and Friday, Thursday night, and I was thinking, Gores is really good, but what happens is you want to set some traps because Gores is so obvious sometimes. Like if you open with a bad hand and they summon Thunder King and you want to drop Gores, you can't set anything. But what happens is like if you can still set Solemn Judgment and a Compulse, or a Warning, then you're good because you can drop Trag and you'll have 3 cards in hand drawn to 4 and it beats over Thunder King. So I just really think Trigodia is a really strong play. And then people, especially in the mirror match, like let's say you have a wind-up factory out, and then they're like, oh, you have a wind-up factory, so you can't Gores me. So they just let you max in and draw like 15 cards. You drop a Trag. One time I beat a guy because he literally let me draw 12 or 13 cards, and I dropped a Trag, and then he had no way to beat it. Yeah, he couldn't get rid of it. And the next turn I MST'd his back row and attacked him for game like this. And he was just like, wow, like I can't believe it. So that was pretty cool. So Trigodia is actually a really good card. Then you have your 2 Thunder Kings. Thunder Kings are really broken. They're just good against every deck right now, and I think they're going to make a strong comeback. They're good against like Gyargias, the Wind-Up Mirror, even Heroes. They can't like Stratos or Reinforcement or Pot or other things. It just negates Rabbit too even. So that's really good. Then you have your 2 Tour Guides and a Tsang gang. I didn't really, since we were on Pot of Avarice, I don't really need a 4th target. And I really never drew a dead Tour Guide. Then you have your windups, of course, 3 Rat, 3 Shark, 3 Magician, and 2 Rabbit. The only reason I ran 2 Rabbit was because I was really tight on deck space. I felt like 2 Rabbits was sufficient. A lot of people were telling me I was crazy, like, oh, you gotta run 3. But in the mirror match, I feel like it's somewhat of a liability. I would side out the 3rd Rabbit anyway, because when you remove things with Rabbit, or you remove itself, your opponent has a chance to Levier and take it away from you. So, especially in the mirror match, because Rat and Tour Guide and all these things make Levier really easily. So I felt like it was a liability. And if you had Rabbit and they had Factory out, you're giving them free pluses. So I really didn't want to do that. So, and I'm expecting a lot of mirror match. So I only ran 2. Then you have your hand traps, 2 Maxi, 2 Baylor. Just standard, what I think. So the monster count is about 4, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17, 19, 21. Alright, then we go on to the spells. We have some staples, of course, 2 Space, Heavy Storm. I didn't think the 3rd one was necessary. I did side the 3rd one just for things like Goes in Match and other things like that. We have Dark Hole, of course, Book of Moon, Pot of Avarice, Monster Reborn, and 2 Factories. The other cards I chose to run were Forbidden Lance. I'm a big advocate of Forbidden Lance. This won me games because they would, I would Solemn Judgment their Warning or whatever, and then they still have a back row, and I'd chain Lance, and they couldn't stop it. And then it also protects your opponent. I mean, protects you from attack and other things like that. And then you have Soul Taker. Soul Taker is a really good card. One of the Hero's not a hard matchup, but it also deals with things like Shining, Light Pulsar. Dragons were actually there, surprisingly. I thought like it's possible. And Soul Taker is just a really good card to get rid of Thunder King and just things like Gyargi Armor, because it flips face down, smashing around can't destroy it, but Soul Taker can destroy it. That's really useful too. Then you have your trap lineup. You have 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Trapstone. Trapstone is actually a really freaking good card. Like it's one of the MVPs of the deck because they just feel like safe behind 4 back rows, and if you can stop their Warning with a Judgment or you just bait out their Warning, all they have are traps left, and you have Trapstun. And the one time that I did try to go off with Trapstun, I changed his bottomless, I changed Trapstun, and he saw a Book of Moon, and I had Lance. So I was like, there's no way he was out. Like, he was done. That's, like, really game-breaking right there. I said Myode, he's Starlight Road, I Trapstun, and then he chained something else, tried to chain Book later, or he tried to chain Book in the beginning, and I activated Lance. And then I said Mile popped his face down Fossil on another card, and he chained Starlight and Trapstone. And then I went all out and dropped everything on him, and he lost. Like that turn, because he had set D Prison still. He couldn't use it. 1 Mirror Force. I just like the card. Sometimes people think like it's not that good a card, but I always think it's good because sometimes you just have to attack. Like windups can put so much pressure on you. Sometimes you just have to try to mount and come back, and you just have to go aggro and push against windups. So Mirror Force is useful. Then and also gets rid of Thunder King, which is a problem. Compulse is really good. Just one copy though. It's more of a tech card for me. We have one deep and one bottomless. I'm an advocate of one ofs. Like if you can't decide, like if you want like, oh, I want to run two of this or two of this, just run one of each. Honestly, I think it's really good. I don't know why people don't like the one ofs. I think it's really good, and it throws your opponent off guard because they think, oh, if he runs one, he might run another one. So it really messes with people. Like they're like, oh, I'm waiting for that second bottomless, but I obviously don't run one. So it's a lot of psychology too. And then you have your two torrentials and two warnings. Just too good to not run in twos. Alright, so that's the main deck right there. I think the count was 42. I did a lot of testings before, so I liked it a lot. And I was confident with it, so I wrote it out and turned it in on Friday already at pre-reg. You have your Zen Mighty, just your one Zen Mighty, of course. Your Shockmaster is just broken. This is a pretty stable side deck. Zen Meister, I didn't realize I needed this until they showed the people in my room showed me the OTK with it, and I realized, oh yeah, there is an OTK with it. I'll go further into that some other time. Photon Popular Operative also helps with OTKs and also good for getting rid of your opponents like Spirit Reaper or Snowman Eater or something like that. You have your Adrius, is very useful. Leviathan, Tyrus, Utopia, pretty standard. Zenmayo is like a champ. You have to run, especially in a trap-heavy format like we have right now. And this with Trap Stun is like ultimate game breaking. Another time I used Zenmayo, he had Starlight Road again, but I hit two of his other back rows, and I chained Lance on the Zenmayo, and he was like, oh my gosh, because he can't Starlight Road my Lance. I mean, he can't Starlight Road my Zenmayo anymore because I chained Lance and can't negate it. So that was really broken too, and I gamed him too. Like, this is a game breaker, literally. Giga Brilliant is really useful. Ten Tempo is like one of the underdogs. Like, it's always so good. One time I was facing a field of Zen Mighty and a Tyrus, and I was just like, oh, okay, I can remove a material from Tyrus and then attack Zen Mighty and then remove another one. Now Tyrus is at no materials at 26 and this guy's at 27. It's like really busted. Then you have your one Leviair, one Maestro, and one Acid Golem. Acid Golem is still useful. I think you need it, but it would be the first card you take out, but I still think it's necessary. That's why I chose him over something like Soul or Silver Mountain, which I wanted to use once because of Gozen match, Rat into Rabbit and run Soul of Silver Mountain, but I chose Acid Golem over that because I was hoping I would draw the MSTs and whatever, or even Trap Stun for the Gozen matches when I needed to. Extra deck, we got one Veiler. I was about to decide one Maxi, one Veiler, but then I realized Veiler was more crucial. It's better for the Geargin matchup, and I just like the Veiler better. So, and I was running out of room, so I just ran the Veiler. My inexperience with Geargiz, I sided Cyber Dragons. Reason being, I like cards that have multiple uses. So Cyber Dragon is also good against things like just big like anti-meta decks or even heroes I'd side these in. So I felt like they were useful in that sense, so I sided Cyber Dragons also for the Gear game matchup instead of things like System Down, which also led me to side this Chimera Tech. I might change it up because of the room it takes up, but I still like the Cyber Dragons and I really thought they were useful. Then you have your two-dimensional fissures. I'd never actually had to use them. I didn't play any Dark Worlds or anything that was or agents even. So I actually didn't even touch these. But I would be glad to have them if like I played those matchups. So I would still keep it. The one Reaper was really useful against heroes. I remember they drew for 5 turns without doing it. They couldn't do anything until they finally drew a Spark, and by then I was ready. Like I had other stuff. Then you have 2 Snowman Eaters, just good against, again, heroes, rabbits, things like that. Spirit Reaper is also good against rabbits. Chain D, this was really good. For the random matchup I did side it in was Dragoonides that actually hit like all his phalanxes and he lost because of that. But also because it's for like the mirror match, you hit the rats, their whatever. Insectors actually showed up, so you could have hit their like their hornet or their dragonfly or whatever they summoned, You could have got rid of it with chain disappearance too. I just like the card in general because it removes all of the copies from their hand and deck. So that's really useful to me, especially for things like Wind Up Magician and Rat. One time I actually I summoned Rat and he tried to torrential, and I chain disappearance, removing his rats, and then I reborned, and I did a reborn play into getting my rat back, and then I just went nuts, and he was just like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But one bottomless, I side the second one because it's just useful in general. I side another Trapstun. Just think it's a really good card. And in trap heavy decks like Gyarias and Heroes that I was anticipating on playing, I really thought Trapstun would be really good. And even for Chain Burn, like that one main deck Trapstun, if I played Chain Burn, could crush him, like could crush whoever was playing it. One Needle Sling, I sort of want to, I don't know if I can increase it to 2, but the main reason is also because a lot of Wind Up players were maining Starlight Road or siding it even in anticipation for Needle Sling. So I'm not sure what to think about Needle Sling. I used it and it was useful, but I don't know if I'd do more than one. Then you have your last MST for things like Gozen Match, Rivalry, etc. for all that stuff. And the last card I have in here is Prohibition. I think I need to learn to use this a little better. I mean, granted, if I drew it with some protection, I would use it a lot easier. But when I played Heroes, I called Alias, and that worked in a way. But he ended up playing around it because he drew the one Crusader and then sparked it. But he had to. So that worked. But the one time I played... I was playing Mystic Piper. I actually lost that matchup. I'll explain. Actually, I'm going to probably make another video. This video is already probably like 8 or 9 minutes, so it's pretty long. So I'll probably make another video with the matches. But this one, I played Mystic Piper, and I was like, I drew it first turn, and I was like, I don't really know how to use it because, I mean, I would want to call Piper, but at the same time, I don't want him to do something else too. So I was like, and I didn't really know what to use it for. So I sort of held it for a little bit. And it worked in the end because I chain disappearanced his Kinkabios, and he removed 2. So I had to verify his hand to make sure he didn't run 3. So his hand was Tragodia, Veiler, Battle Fader, and something else. I was like, oh man, that's a lot of stuff. And then I realized if I wanted to OTK him, I had a warning set. So I was like, if I had to OTK him, I have to bait the Veiler. And then I could call Prohibition on one of those cards, and then warning the last one. So I waited, I baited out his Veiler finally, and then next turn I went off, and then I went Prohibition on Tragodia, and then I waited for his Fader and warninged it, and that's how I beat him game 2. So that was really useful. I really like Prohibition as a card. You just really have to learn how to use it. I was just like sort of fumbling around with it when I drew it. I didn't know what to do with it initially, but I learned like on the fly with that. So that was the main deck and the extra deck and the side deck. I really liked it. Some of the matches I lost, I just shouldn't have lost. Like those people had like no business winning like that. But so honestly, I went X3. It was cool. I was bounty at this YCS, so it was pretty cool. The first time I was a bounty, I got Extreme Victory first ed packs for winning, like 2 packs every time I won. But in rounds 2 and 3 when I lost lost a lot of packs, and then went on a winning streak, like 5 games, and then I lost round 9. And I'll go more in detail in the next video. But lost round 9, and I had to give away like 14 packs of Extreme Victory. It's like, oh, it was like so painful. And I didn't make the top cut because of that, but I did open a pack of tour guide, which is really cool. It's like $70, so free money. And it was pretty cool. So that's all I have for this video. If you guys like the deck, or if you guys have any suggestions or whatever, let me know. All right, thanks guys. 3zinferno signing out.